guys, it's Natalie. I hope you're all doing really well. I wanted to do a follow-up video to my last video where I brought you along for the journey of my, oh hi, Archer. This is Archer. Yes, he's my new baby. Yes. Oh, hi. Say hi. Okay, so are we done? Are we done? Are we done now? Okay, so a bit of a different venue. I'm on the floor. I don't know if this is a good choice or not because we are doing some work around the house, replacing the carpet, and all of my lighting equipment is in the garage right now. So this is my only source of natural light. So for the moment, this is what I have to work with. So. On to my story. I wanted to give you guys my experience with my intestinal obstruction. Okay, we can hang that after, okay? So I had what they call an idiopathic obstruction of the small bowel, and I also had a kink in my bowel. And I wanted to explain sort of my signs and symptoms so that hopefully none of you ever experience this, but if you have, or if you do, then you'll know how to respond appropriately. So February 28th, we'll go to the beginning. I have a feeling you're going to be with me this whole video, so let's sit down together. Let's sit together. Urgh. Okay, February 28th, I had been feeling generally unwell. I had a sore stomach, I was achy, I felt nauseous. It had started sometime in the afternoon. It was getting progressively worse. I took some Tums to try and alleviate the stomach cramping, but of course that didn't work. And he wants to be on YouTube too. Archer. Say hi. Really? Let me say hello. So please, I have to change locations. This is not gonna work. So we're gonna have to revert to bad lighting. Ah! Stop! Please. I love you. This is not working. It's not me, it's you. Yeah. Okay, I have to change locations because this is not working out. Stay tuned. I'll be back. Okay, so this is the new location. I will get my tripod set up and we will continue with the story. Starting off from the beginning, February 28th, I was feeling unwell. I was just generally unwell. My stomach was sore, it was cramping, and so I took a couple Tums thinking it was just your typical run-of-the-mill sore stomach, and but it just kept getting worse and worse. And then I started to, real quick, if you are squeamish about vomiting or anything like that, this is probably not the best video for you. That was another issue that I was having, was I was vomiting incessantly, and it wasn't normal. It wasn't normal evacuation. It was like frothy, foamy. The pain was right below my sternum, so basically like right here, that's where the pain was the worst, and it kind of radiated out from there, but that was like the central area of just excruciating pain and pressure. And then it started to swell. So from about 6 p.m. to midnight, the symptoms were getting worse and worse and worse. By midnight, I realized that this was not normal. So I went to a smaller hospital here just down the street, and they brought me back, and of course there was no one there at that time. They brought me back right away. They did an MRI, and they saw a small bowel obstruction and a kink in the intestine. So basically I had a blockage, I had kinky guts, and so they were not equipped to handle my situation, and I needed to be sent to a bigger hospital downtown for immediate evaluation and surgery. They got an ambulance. I went downtown. They didn't even do their own scan. They just reviewed the report from the first hospital, and I was in surgery within 30 minutes. And so they did laparoscopy. They did laparoscopy, whatever. They did it through 3 small, supposed to be small incisions in my abdomen. Laparoscopy? Yes, that feels right. And they were supposed to be 3 small incisions. One in that main area where the obstruction was, that had been swelling and swelling. Like by the time I got to that second hospital, I looked like I was 6 or 7 months pregnant. It was crazy. It might be easier for me just to show you. So I think I showed you my last video. So this was supposed to be much smaller, probably about 1/3 the size, and then 2 other ones, like one here and one here. They had difficulty getting in to that first section, and so they had to make the incision larger. And they had warned me that if worse came to worse, that they would actually have to do a very, very large incision right down to my belly button, basically. And at that point, vanity wasn't even an issue. I just told them to do what they needed to do. So went in, had the surgery. They cleared out the obstruction, fixed the kink in my intestines, and then sent me to my room. And I was in the hospital for 7 or 8 days. I feel like I was discharged on the 8th day. And in that time, obviously I was on a lot of pain medication. I was on a liquid diet, and that continued for weeks after I left the hospital. And a lot of bowel support, so laxatives, enemas, you name it, they threw it all at me. And so I was taking something every 2 hours to keep my system moving and keep it clean. And I was getting scans pretty much every day. And then on the 3rd day, I had to do a special scan where I had to drink 2 bottles of liquid that tasted like soap, like legit, like tasted like dish soap. And I guess that's what they would consider the contrast liquid. And they did a scan, a preliminary scan, so the very first one. That one took about an hour and a half. They would take images like every 20 minutes, I think, after I had consumed the 2 bottles of soap. And so then they had their baseline. So I consumed it. They saw within, you know, that 90-minute period how far into my digestive tract that it had gotten. And then they did follow-on scans to, you know, follow it all the way through to evacuation. Then I was discharged, sent home with a very, very restrictive diet. No dairy, no gluten, applesauce. I graduated to mashed potatoes. That was a really big day for me. A lot of coconut water for the potassium, and a lot of supplementation as far as vitamins are concerned. I had to supplement, and still do supplement, significant amounts of magnesium, because if you didn't know, magnesium in high quantities has a laxative effect to it. So that's kind of where I'm at now. It has been coming up on about 3 months since the initial issue. So if you can take anything away from this video, if you experience pain, you know, where your sternum is or right below your sternum, that is unlike anything you've had before, like, you know, 9, 10, 11 out of 10 pain level, that's a red flag. Vomiting, frothy, likely bile, that is also a red flag. The swelling, which was a sudden onset, that's another red flag. All of these things were really like completely out of the blue. They deemed it as being idiopathic, meaning of no known cause. That's why I have to take shots, because I do take pain medication due to my back condition. And so they're concerned that that may contribute to a future recurrence. They don't think that that was necessarily the cause of this obstruction, but they want to mitigate any risk of it coming back as a result of any pain medication slowing down my digestive system. So it was all very, very sudden, but I'm really glad that I listened to my body and, you know, took action when I did to go into the hospital and seek care. Those are the things that I experienced, and if you experience them, definitely listen to your body, get to the nearest urgent care or hospital, whatever's closest to you. Those are typically acute care situations. Mine was near fatal. If it hadn't been treated, I wouldn't be here today. So listen to your body, and like I said in my last video, if it doesn't feel right, it probably isn't right. So get it checked out. Always, you know, err on the side of caution. And by the way, I'm just saying, this Mio stuff is really, really good. I started drinking this when I came back from the hospital, and it's they have energy varieties, and they have just electrolytes. And the electrolytes one, you know, those were the first flavors that I had tried. You just squirt a couple of drops in your water, and you're good to go. But they're really, really good, and they do help supplement your electrolytes. I heard that they're really good for hangovers, the electrolyte one, and probably the one with caffeine in it too. But if you're sensitive to caffeine, that's probably not a good idea. So, total aside, and not sponsored, by the way, just thought you should know. So yeah, that was my experience. Hopefully, I mean, if you're watching this, you probably looked this up or just happened to fall upon this video, and so I hope I was able to answer some questions. And I know it was a little rambly, but I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse, I'm not a nurse practitioner. This was just my own personal experience. Never ever ever thought that I would deal with an issue like that. I'd never had any prior issues. I eat well. I, you know, work out regularly. Not so much anymore for two reasons. One, this set me back significantly, and two, now I'm dealing with a cardiac issue, which I'll cover in a different video. So I'm not as mobile and active as I was before all of this happened. But certainly this isn't something that I would have expected to happen at my age. They said it's very common with older folks and people that have like mechanical issues, meaning like their system, there's something fundamentally broken in how their system operates and processes waste, and they weren't able to find a mechanical cause for my issue. They were just able to go in and fix it, and now we just try to prevent the recurrence. So if you've had a similar experience, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. If you have any questions about the treatment or the healing process, which was a very, very long and very, very painful healing process, I'd be happy to answer any of those questions as well. Again, not a doctor, I can only speak from a patient point of view, but if this is something that you're having to deal with, I'm really, really sorry. I know how challenging it is. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm still here, good, bad, or otherwise, I'm still kicking. I'm glad that I am. But yeah, that's my story, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.